Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday and happy Chinese New Year. Happy new moon in Aquarius. My goodness, there's just so much going on. And it's 2/2/22. Wow. So, what is going on in your world? Tell me a little bit about how you're feeling as we have ventured into February as well as Aquarius. So if you're joining me live, make sure that you give StreamYard permission so I can see your comments. And if you're watching the replay, hashtag replay. So I want to use our time today to dive into this month's theme. We are this year flowing through the cycles of the Zodiac and working with the lunar cycles. So I think this is a really powerful way, and I use it in my own business. I use it with my clients to work with the energies that are occurring and find some focus that we can apply for ourselves and our business. It also gives us an opportunity each new moon to reset our intentions, etc. And I have some really exciting stuff that I'll be sharing with you next week to help you with that journey on a month in, month out basis, aside from what you receive here in this group. But let's dive into this month's theme. What is Aquarius energy all about? Well, Aquarius rules society, so community, government. I'm not going to get into the aspects of now very often. I occasionally will bring them up, but we're seeing this. You can see this to this week especially, and around this time we've got some aspects astrologically that are bringing in rules and restrictions, and we're trying to find this balance point between what's good for the community and what's good for the individual. And you can see this playing out currently. And that's because we've got Saturn involved. But let's just talk about Aquarius in general. But I think it's a kind of a good way to look at things is we can look at current events. So if Aquarius rules society, it's our people, our community, and it's how we're connecting, how we're communicating, how we're sharing our story, the stories that pull us in. So what we create and what we share with others. So there's this opportunity for us to look at finding community and the communities we are engaged in and involved with. So both for yourself and for where you're going to connect with your soul clients. And the key here is to remember that those two places may not be the same. So let me say that again. Those two places may not be the same. And I find this often with clients is they're like, well, I'm posting all the time and I'm in all these groups, and it's not where their soul clients are hanging out. And so knowing that is really important. So really having that deep understanding of what types of communities and places your soul clients like to hang out, these may or may not overlap with where you like to hang out. Now, unlikely, or maybe, some of you might have the opportunity to meet soul clients in this group, in the Heart Powered Coaches and Healers Collective, but many of you won't because it's not where your soul clients hang out. But it's community. It's people who are on the same journey with you. So there's this supportive energy. So what fills your cup? That's the community that we're looking at, the things we involve ourselves in. And then where do your soul clients get their cup filled? Where are they looking for information? Where are they hanging out? That's a different area of community, or the community you create for your soul clients. So remember that it's really important to have both of those aspects in your beingness and in your experience. And so the one thing I want to drive home this month and help you to uncover is that we want to be sure that where we are spending our time and energy is truly aligned. I see a lot of coaches pushing the narratives of just do this and do it this way, and you will, build your business and find your clients. But their way may not be your way. If you're not wired and designed similarly, it won't work. And So what I see often is that people will end up frustrated and spending a lot of time and energy showing up in certain places, and it's really uncomfortable and they hate it. And guess what? They're not getting clients there. If your energy isn't in alignment, it's not going to work for you. And I can tell you some stories. Multiple times in the past few weeks, people have friended me, and I always look when someone friends me to see what we have in common, to see if we have common friends, before I respond. And so most of the time, I can tell when it's a bit spammy, when they're just trying to, build a network of some sort. But often, other times I'll see that we have a lot of friends in common. So I'll say yes and then see what happens. It's this experiment that I do. And so, but the last few times when I have said yes, right afterwards, I just get invited to their group or I get sent something without a hello, without a hey, this is why I reached out to you. I thought we might connect. Here's what I do. Nothing. To me, that doesn't feel aligned. um, and it works for some people, this, dialing for dollars, I call it. Back in the day when I was in corporate, there was a moment in time when I was doing life insurance and disability. Oh, and I was literally with a Rolodex, old school. I'm not that old, but old school, yellow pages or white pages and a Rolodex, dialing for dollars to try to get appointments. And that is still in even this tech world, a way that people work their business. And if that works for them, great. And if that works for you, great. But doesn't work for me. That doesn't feel good. So it's not how I'm going to create community. Back in the day, or when I first was really getting into my business, I was working with a coach who was really pushing the LinkedIn strategy. And I spent a lot of energy, a lot of time learning it, being in groups, focusing on courses, and I hated it. About as much as I hated going to the office in San Francisco and dialing for dollars. That's what it felt like. Like I would feel so tense and so uncomfortable. And so I finally let it go. And he just kept pushing me and pushing me. This is going to work. Your people are there. Just do it this way. And no. So I really, really want to encourage you to honor your knowing, to honor your guidance system. You can explore all these different ways to connect with people, and there are plenty. I have a lot of clients who say, I hate being on social media. So then that's not where you're meant to find your clients. Or they like it just for the personal or the education, but they don't want to run a group. They don't want to post all the time. And so then that's not where you're meant to find your clients. It may feel like that's the only strategy, but there are a lot of ways to connect with people. So, as always, there's not one way, there's just your way. And if you're not showing up in your uniqueness, if you are not allowing yourself to show up as you are wired and designed, you won't have the results that you desire. You won't feel, your energy is going to be depleting, and people are going to not connect with you because you don't feel good about it and they don't feel good about it. Now, if you are trying something new and it feels a little, you're not sure, the one thing I will say is try things, test things. Sometimes it's just a growth edge, and other times it's just a hard no, and it's okay. Keep exploring, keep looking. I have clients who will try to overcome that hard no, and inevitably, I'm like, you're not wired and designed that way. When we look at all of how you're feeling, how you're showing up, when we look at your astrology, we look at other external indicators, it's not where you're meant to be. And oh, by the way, maybe some clients are there, but there are clients, potential clients in all kinds of places. So find your way. Video may not be for you. Maybe you don't like being on video, so maybe Clubhouse is your way, because then it's just all audio. Maybe there are so many, maybe like pre-recording videos. And so you can post them on YouTube. There's so many different ways to get your message out there, to share, to connect with people. The bottom line is community needs to be created from your heart. You need to follow your heart mind. You need to step into your knowing, your truth. Don't follow an expert on a path and a journey that doesn't align with who you are. You'll waste time, money, and energy. Find your way. And, that's part of what I want to do here in this group is help you find your way. When we really truly understand how we're wired and designed, then we've got structures and systems in place, then we can find that tactic and latch onto it, become an expert in it, learn it, and then really allow it to help us build our business. But until we really understand and trust in our knowing, then we're throwing darts, which is great. And we really need to be listening. So, and the same goes true on the personal side. I'm noticing in my world and in others, colleagues and friends, there's a lot of shedding going on, a lot of letting go. That's part of this energy right now. Aquarius wants us to get, truthful about what works for us and what doesn't. So, my friendship circles, the people that I look to for support have shifted over the last few years. And there's another shift occurring as I grow and change, as I step into more of my truth, as I speak more about what I believe in. Some people just aren't aligned with that. And that's okay. It makes space for people who are. And for me to find the right communities, the right circles, the right support for me. And that's what I want to remind you to do as well. It can feel uncomfortable. It can feel like, well, what's next? And who do I want to be surrounded with? I look at that as like this really beautiful gift of getting curious. So I invite you to stay curious as always, to tap into your heart mind, and let's explore together this month community for yourself that creates support, and the communities where you want to show up to connect with your soul clients. So we're going to utilize this Aquarius energy this month, do that deep dive. And remember, it's all about you showing up in your uniqueness, which means that the places you show up, it needs to feel good so that you feel comfortable just being you. All right, my friends, let me know what you think about this. Have you found your way, your space, where you feel just really jazzed and excited to show up? Or are you still in the journey of exploration? Let me know. And I will see you next time. And as always, remember, all it takes is a little bit of heart power. See you soon.